So you want to make sure everything's going good. Everything seems to be fine.
Mhm.
5 minutes early,
Mhm.
not late. That's great. Well, I got another box of flooring that you liked.
I saw that. Are you gonna? You'll be able to finish my hallway. Are we gonna do
Pretty
the
close.
living room and kitchen with that too? I would really like that.
Okay.
I really would. I really like that flooring. Um,
I was getting ready to paint your cabinet, so
which cabinets?
kitchen.
What color are you painting them?
Well,
Do we have yellow?
you want yellow cabinets?
Yeah. Or black? Yeah.
Okay.
I like yellow and black in my kitchen.
Yellow and black.
In my kitchen. Yeah. I know I'm weird. Okay. Let me switch to straight arrow. No. Those are good ideas, actually.
What's that?
Vacuum and spray, and then get diatomaceous earth and spray it in the, or scatter it in the bedroom.
Hmm.
I'll answer that. I'm the one with no husband in my bed.
Hey.
Why are you not going into studio? I know we're live, but it's not showing it. There we
We
go.
are live, but we're not going to do anything until
Until 8
2
o'clock.
minutes.
Yeah, that's fine. I just need to know that we're live. We are live. Hold on, let me talk. Hello, hello.
What's the matter, Flash? You having a hard time?
Okay, actually it says
You
down.
just look miserable, dog.
Select stream.
Sitting there like, why are you torturing me?
I know. He's a freak. He wants to be held. He's a freak. 1 minute. Oh crap. I did not mean to do that.
Well, here we are on another Wednesday night, which is a joy because I have interacted with lots of people through the years who are not here no more. Um, and nobody gets out alive. That's what one of the customers was saying. Well, friends was saying when I was working with him on the bathroom, we were talking about different people that we knew that weren't around to enjoy great people. And
His
so,
wife is sick too.
yeah, it's the second time around with a wife. But we were working on this house from 1800s, and we're putting in traditional type uh, 2x2s with little diamonds every other row, little gray diamonds, white and gray, 2x2 tile with 1/8 inch. When we got through putting the gray grout in it, it looked like linoleum. It looked almost fake, but it's all ceramic, and it's just or marble. It's really pretty. Very, very traditional. And all the little squares made the room look bigger. So the small patterns uh, always tend to make the rooms look bigger. So it's such a low ceiling, and the roof is low. And I think it must have been some many years ago, uh, probably a porch. And actually, the the hallway before you get to that room was a porch. You can tell because I was underneath it straightening out the plumbing. Oh, probably a month and a half ago, and you can see where they just kept adding on to the house. And started out was a little bitty square of a house, and it had a fireplace on one side of it, and then they added on the kitchen. And the kitchen, when I say you can tell that it was a porch, the floors are tilted on porches back in the day, so that the snow and everything could be pushed off real easy. Yeah, yeah. Um, so rain and everything like that wouldn't stay on your porch, and you could push it off. So then you have to either you deal with a sloping floor, or you have to build it up so it's not um, sloping. You got a level floor, and so like you could tell this house had been added onto and then added onto because they used rocks for the foundation, big flat rocks where they probably had to travel a little bit to get good flat rocks. You can find rocks here.
And there's some videos of this particular house.
Yeah, yeah.
We've done other work on this
So
house.
we were talking about how air conditioning, say in the 80s, he and his wife were starting out with their kids and everything, and they didn't have any air conditioning in the house that they bought. It was a very modest home, and so we were talking about that too. That a lot of people, their first home is a really nice home. Maybe they aspire to be more than that home, but it's spectacularly nice compared to what if they would have something like that house that he's got, probably 20 years ago, you could have bought that house for like 60 grand. And now it's in the historic part of Springdale, and they're trying to do a whole lot with it, and it's just a beautiful Airbnb. And he keeps saying, well, I think I might end up living here myself because he likes it. Everything's very close, he says, walking distance to everything. And it's just a really quaint. There's a lot of work went into it. So we were talking about, you pay $40,000-$50,000 for a house out in the rural areas of 40 miles from here, even 30 miles from here. And you can find homes that need a lot of work. So that requires a very good relationship if it's a man and a woman together, that they're willing to do those things. And wow, what a journey that would be. And I was like, so I was telling him, I was like, you'd be hard pressed to spend that $350,000 on this house. I mean, just even if you hired everybody to do your work, you would just be handing money to people. So beautiful house. I can't imagine what it appraises for. He's just got it. The two of them have got that thing in spectacular shape. and it's very popular, used over and over again by the same people who started renting it. And it's a good example of how much fun they had putting that house together. That couple is just a lot of fun to be with, to interact with. I'm not saying they have, never have a problem, but they always are positive and looking for ways to make what they're working on better, and they can change their mind. It's okay. So we're working on this house, and I was even before I had already made up my mind that I would like to talk about how people get locked into a home and they don't feel like they should change anything, that they'll just move to another house. And it's like, oh, I can't do that. Well, how do you know?
Have you tried?
You should. How do you pick up a skill if you don't try to learn it? I mean, there's all the information in the world on YouTube right now, um, and all the other social medias out there. That all this information is just amazing, and you can watch people do it. And yes, it is different to do it yourself, because if you could just watch it and all of a sudden you know how, doesn't give you the skills to do it. Like today, I was doing drywall finish. You can see the drywall mat on me. Uh,
That's
that's
the
not
first
something,
thing I asked when you got
right?
home.
That's not something that you pick up and just start doing it. It's even ride a bicycle takes a little bit of time to get good at it. But drywall finishing, it takes many many years to get very very good at it. But you can do the job. You just gotta understand your parameters. And guess what? It's okay to make a mistake and start over. It's okay. So I want you to start figuring out ways to getting joy out of the journey, to finding happiness, because actually happiness is the journey. It's not a destination. It's not an arrival at a certain point and then you're going to be happy. What you're doing is delaying the possibility of having happiness before that, all through your life. Yes, there will be hardship. And those are the hardships are what helps you appreciate when you have good things. If you were ever hungry, then you know what good food tastes like. So you would need that hunger to be able to appreciate the good food. Or good sleep. Say you couldn't sleep well. Wouldn't you enjoy sleep a lot if you hadn't slept well? I'm not saying you should make it where you don't have sleep, but all these things require an investment. You need to amaze yourself with what you can do. You need to. The biggest problem with any success is getting started. So, you know, do you want to be totally deliberate about it? Probably. But how about you just start looking at Pinterest and Instagram, all those places, and say, what about these colors? What about this style? What about these pictures? What about this furniture? Before all this Pinterest and such as that, I used to have a lot of Architectural Digest magazines, and I would, say, okay, this burnt orange color goes really good with this yellow, and it goes good with this kind of furniture. And so I would, talk to the customer and say, hey, these are some pictures that I found. These are years ago, and I kept them. Um, so somebody had went to all the trouble of building these homes and then getting into this furniture and all these nice things, which we're kind of collecting a little bit, and then say, hey, you know what? I don't like it. I want to try this, and I promise you, this it's a fun thing. And paint, you can paint over it. You can take the paint off. You know what? You could take all the plywood off. You could start over with all new flooring, all new wall covering, texture. You could start with new cabinets. You could. So understand, these things are not the end. A child splashes your nail polish on the wall. It You can overcome that. You can.
I had my children, my oldest children, take a bunch of nail polish and make art on the wall, or so they informed me.
It was art. Yeah. In their world, it was art. I
In my world, it was a belt.
right. So, I mean, I remember a club that I worked on Dixon Street, that they was like, hey, we got a big old air conditioner in the middle of the room. What can we do? I was like, well, we can put a bar. You were talking about putting a bar in the middle of the room. Why don't we do the bar right below it? Because there's no need for, and then we'll just, how about this? We'll build a wood frame around it and put plywood on it, and then we'll paint it with black chalkboard paint. And then you can get contests and have people draw things on it. And they did. They even started putting prices and specials and on that chalkboard. And there's an air conditioner hanging down, from the ceiling, that we removed the acoustical ceiling, but now that air conditioner, ugly looking thing, was hanging down. Is all wrapped up with wood, and everybody was, you know, really didn't recognize it. The bar was made from some barn wood that I had setting on a rack that's still out there on that property. And I just didn't want to throw the barnwood away. And he's like, hey, I'll buy that barnwood from you. He hadn't even seen it. But, you pay for the old wood, you pay a lot. So we built the frame of it, put plywood on it, then fastened that barnwood on it. They put stainless steel top on it, and then brushed the stainless steel to have different, like Ace of Hearts and King of Diamonds and in different sections on this long bar. And we hooked all the water lines and everything to it. It was, and I put in a rigid pipe for a footrest. Brought in stools that were custom made by L&M Metals. They made the stools and everything. The place was called Big Daddy's Boom Boom Room. So it was just a really fun place, and it came to fruition just by slowly everybody kicking in. And they even had a train, a larger scale train, on a shelf all the way around that would require the tracks being cleaned so the electricity would get to the motor and it would keep going. And at one point we used Everclear because that was the closest thing to alcohol we could get.
Dude, Everclear will clean anything you want. It's kind of expensive, but it's a good cleaner.
It was a neat place. So a lot of unusual things went in there. A lot of art. I built a stage and tried to figure out vibration issues, but I would also point to houses that I worked on that it was just they loosened up and found things that they enjoyed. I can tell you of a couple right now that just I was like, wow, I might not be a Star Wars collector, but this person is. And they wanted, one person said, hey, I want this red, and it was on a box. So I went and found that red. And by the way, that red took like 5 coats to get it red like that over the color that was underneath it. But they got what they wanted. And it's not because they were spoiled, it was because they wanted to have fun with it.
If you spend a lot of time in your home, like I do, it's more important. I mean, my home is where I'm at. That's my atmosphere.
So, I mean, what I want you to understand is most of what we go through seems very, very stressful. Um, I think it's because we allow it to be stressful. Yes, bills and the strain of making everything happen, but don't you see the joy of holding somebody's hand? Don't you the children, their smiles and their belly laughs, all those things, those are all points of beauty. Does it require a home that has no character to it? No. What you should do is understand that there's a great adventure that we have ahead of us every day, that we can learn new things. I don't know how many times I've had people tell me they can paint. Well, honestly, it was not to the standards that I'm used to, that I would expect anybody working with me. But they felt like they could, and they wanted to paint the rental that they were in, and I let them, and it
It was a mess.
usually a mess. Very few exceptions.
I'll say our bathroom that we did together means a lot to me.
Right.
And we did that when we were first together.
And then we can do so much fancier now.
But
Uh,
I'm happy with it. I mean, I just need to let.
she has a corner whirlpool tub, and then we decided to put a shower at the same point. So we have a shower going up into the whirlpool tub. We have no problem climbing, swinging a leg over, or even sitting on it and swinging legs over. But that allows us to have that corner whirlpool, well, us, particularly her, and then an on demand water heater, which really wasn't very much. I had to do a lot of shopping and try to figure out, how much water we were using. We didn't have the money for it right away, and, there was always something else to spend the money on, but eventually we got there.
That was an anniversary present.
She made it seem as though, yeah,
It
that
was.
wasn't.
It was a cool
It
anniversary
wasn't
present.
my intention at all to be an anniversary present. I don't remember what it is I got, but seems like I bought a bunch of purple mums
Yeah.
and spread them. Well,
And
when
then
I
we
say
planted them together.
right, so buying a bunch of purple mums. So what I did was bought nearly. So they discount the pots about the time that our anniversary is coming up. And so I would just buying all these discounted ones. When I say I bought a bunch, I bought
Enough to
60,
run from
70.
our bed. Yeah, enough to run from our bed
both sides.
into the living room to my desk, and then from the bed to the bathroom.
So 60 pots of purple mums. And she was passed out. So I ran them, all around the house, made this path for her to walk. So she probably hadn't had that happen before.
No,
Right.
that was no.
So, and then we planted them, and we didn't have that much success at all.
No, they died, and people
they're-
cut them down.
Yeah, they can come back, but they have to be left a certain way. And people, yeah, we had a renter that was just literally taking a weed eater and cutting them off just out of meanness, I think. But
It was out of meanness.
so, but we had a wonderful time planning all that stuff together. Why couldn't you? Really didn't cost virtually anything. And we've had plenty of times where we were tight, upside down. And in the bigger numbers that you have, guess what? You get bigger upside down numbers.
Scarier.
Yeah, when you start, it's like, oh, we're going to be short 1,500, 2,000. When you can get worse than that. You just figure out ways to make it happen. And does that make you hate one another? You could make it where you fight each other because of it.
Why?
But I'm not the type to wreak havoc because of it. I want to know why it happened, so I don't have to keep on happening. So what I'm leading to is, do you have to pay full price for what you want? You could. You could be determined about it and just buy it a little at a time. You certainly could. Or you could get on Facebook Marketplace and find something. Like if you wanted hardwood floor, there's almost always those hardwood floor places have lots of different lengths and widths that they don't like, and you can buy it for very, very cheap. For like $400, you get like a whole trailer load of it. Uh, and I'm not joking, but they're all different widths. You have to sort out the widths, and then you can run each run according to the width. 3 inch, 2 inch, inch and a half, 4 inch. You can do all that, and then yeah, I've seen them where they actually stained them different colors.
Oh, that
And
would be cool.
yeah, like a patchwork quilt. We didn't do that, but what we're Christina and I have kind of leaned toward is things that are easy to clean.
Yeah, because I got too much going on to be worried about
Right.
cleaning.
Yeah, I mean it's the kids are all out of the house, and we're tilting everything toward um, things that make us smile. And so
Things that'll survive a Great Dane puppy right now.
she gets a lot of comfort from books, and I got to say, I get some comfort too from books being lined on the walls and things like that. So almost all the
Bookcases.
walls are covered with books
Hmm.
in the living room.
In the living room, my office,
Yeah, so
our bedroom.
there are books everywhere, and to me, that's a magical wallpaper.
Hmm.
It I don't know how to tell you, but it's just something comforting about those books, even if you haven't read them all. Maybe
But
one
that's
day,
the whole thing. I don't want books that I've read all of
right?
them. I want to
Uh,
know that I have books.
and learning to build shelves, and then you say, oh, here's a different one. I like that one better, or I found one at a garage sale, and then you put that bookshelf up, and you're like, oh, I don't like it there. I want to move it over here. Forgive yourself for the mistakes that you make. Forgive one another for those changes. You're allowed to change. You're allowed to try to have fun with the things inside your home. Painting furniture, I see that all the time now, where they take older furniture and they sand it down and they paint it fun colors.
Or do like that with feathers or chickens or flowers.
I know my first wife, she went through a phase of barnyard animals like ducks and cows and black and white cows and the barn and
Oh,
everything. And
yes.
then we went from that to uh, southwestern stuff. So all the cows and everything and ducks and all that went away, and here comes this new southwestern stuff. So
Your ex-wife would have driven me batshit crazy.
yeah, well, every person has their things that make them feel good, and guess what? You're allowed to change. You're allowed to change. Like, well, Christina is eclectic too. Consider this: she likes dragons and she likes Tweety Bird
Chickens,
and chickens. Those things don't
books.
don't really go together,
No.
So, uh, I bought somebody else's dragon collection. That sped things up, and then people bring in dragons and things like that, and then Tweety Birds are. I used to put a bounty out on Tweety Birds, so now we have odd
I did
Tweety
not
things.
even know there was that many Tweety birds. That many different things that were made with Tweety.
Hmm. Don't get me wrong. Elaborately nice furniture has been given to me, and I just, we don't have a place for it in our life. I mean,
$6.
right? It's just I have an inversion uh, table that I want to use. She doesn't.
And oh yeah,
Yes,
things right in the way.
we have a decent sized living room, and it's pretty eclectic. Like I said, we have a lot of books on the walls and quite a few windows. And funny thing about windows, a lot of times the windows are covered up with blinds. So why have windows? Because maybe you could go out the window if you needed to. Either way, she nor I have this great need to have elaborately fancy things and to show off. We we're not. We have no need to show off name brands, nor do we have any need to torture other people with fancy things that we have. We're trying to keep everything basic and enjoyable. Um, we don't want a lot of payments on fancy furniture. Uh, right now, she has a Great Dane puppy
Puppy that is eating.
and another Great Dane that's very young, 2 years old, and they're, you know, they're getting and chewing on things. You got to stop chewing on that box or that.
Stop chewing on the drywall.
Yeah, chewing on the drywall.
That's what I had
It's
to
not,
correct
you
right
know.
before the
So
live.
I think that after raising children, now we need some other kind of torture. But what you need to do is find what makes you happy, and understand part of your growth will be for you to continue to learn how to do things like painting, like maintaining your home. I see so many people that like maintaining their yard. It's got to be because they like it. It is not something I like to do. I mean, I have a lot of lawnmowers, but it would be a totally rare thing to see me riding a lawnmower because there's so many other things that I can do that anybody else can't. Why would I spend my time riding a mower?
No, we pay people, or I do it if I'm not.
I would do it if there's nobody else to do it, but there's always somebody
Who wants to do it?
who would like to do it. There are people who have golf courses for front yards. If you like that, why not? Beautiful flowers. I understand flowers. There's something therapeutic about planting, flowering trees and flowers. And indoor plants, they don't work very well with me because I got lights on all the time.
24 hours a day.
So we had to learn how to adjust to that. But
Yeah, because I usually like plants, but they don't.
they
I
don't
can't
survive
even
around
do
me.
starts in here because he wants the light on all the time.
I get up and move around. If I can't sleep, and I do things.
I'm
So-
not complaining.
So, so what I would like to see you do is forgive yourself when you make mistakes, when you're learning how to paint or you're learning how to drywall finish, learning how to use a saw. Don't be mad at yourself. Reach out and learn. Make those mistakes. That's how a child does when he's learning how to walk. That's how you do whenever you learn anything new. It does not come easy. If it did, you would not appreciate the skill. And guess what? If you never really get as good as somebody who does it all the time, that's okay. Now you know what to expect, what skill level it takes to do those things. Electrical can be that way. No. You just need to understand the basics of electrical, and it's the same with plumbing. You need to understand how it works. And yes, you can make mistakes, but as a rule, you're not going to burn your house down. It's possible. You're not going to tear your house down. It's possible, but not very likely.
Not probable.
Not very likely at all. Very, very low. So understanding things first and watching videos. That's amazing that you got that now. Before the best you could get
You
was
just have to do it yourself.
a book with pictures. So change the colors, and then you change that color, and you're like, oh, I don't like that. And guess what? A lot of times I can go into the oops area of Home Depot or Lowe's or somewhere else, and like, hey, this is discounted because they didn't like how it turned out. So you can get a 5-gallon bucket for $50 of interior paint or exterior paint or stain, which I have right now. You have to put them in the heated areas to keep them from running during the wintertime. But that's instead of $300-400, you paid $50, and you could try it. You could try that paint, and like, oh, I don't like how that looks. You know, you don't have that much money in it. You can buy in 1 gallon. A gallon goes 250, 300 square feet if it's not a heavy texture. You can make a mistake in color choice and then come back. You can paint murals, or at least attempt to, and say, I don't like it, I'll just paint over it. Learning how to do trim, learning how to put up a door. These are all adventures, and you're getting better. You're learning something. You're going to want to always be learning, even when you get to be in your 70s. They say
to keep dementia at bay.
They say you should start using your left hand, learning a new language. Those are all things that require very little effort. But you know what? You could be remodeling your house for the 50th time because this is a new style that you like, that you wanted to try this African jungle style. Elvis had a jungle room. Why not? Try it. Those are these things that we are living in, these boxes, they're not totally locked in. You don't have to be making everybody else happy. You need to learn to make yourself happy. Enjoy the journey with each other. If you have a partner with you, enjoy it together. Talk about it. Work it out. Don't argue. Work it out. Try to figure out ways to actually enjoy one another and the growth that you have and the mistakes that you make. They're funny.
You can laugh at each other.
I remember, I think it was 2 mornings ago, I came in looking for my phone. She says, "What are you looking for?" And I was like, "I'm looking for my phone. It's in my back pocket." I didn't have to tell her that. I could have just I'm just looking. No, I told her it's in my back pocket, and I went all the way in here to find it, and it's in my back pocket, behind my wallet, but it's behind my back pocket. These are things.
You laughed at me because I'm looking for it and it's in my hand.
Right. But I don't ever laugh at because of meanness. We enjoy one another, and we try to figure out ways to enjoy the life we live in the circumstances that we have. She and I have discussed that if we lose everything,
Gallon and mismatched paint plus a gallon of white usually makes a reasonable color. Yeah, that's true. I've done it. We've done it. When we were doing my
several times.
chicken coops.
You mix a bunch of weird colors together, it's going to come out purple, by the way.
Especially if your wife loves purple.
So yeah, you can mix colors and I don't like that. I'm gonna, what happens?
Add white or.
Yeah, when you mix these two colors, what color do I get? You got to remember the amount you're putting in each one are going to be hard pressed to match. And then there's all the different. I just got through working with a guy that he said, "Oh yeah, I thinned it all down with some white that I found." I was like, "What? Why are you talking about?" And he pointed to it. It was primer. And I said, "James, that it is white, but it's primer."
You got to consider the source there.
So he thinned it down, but he didn't use the white that I meant for him to use. And he did a horrible job painting. Just couldn't do worse. Bumped the ceiling, didn't get all the way to the edge.
Used 5 gallons.
Hit the baseboard, didn't get all the way down to the baseboard because he was way overweight and he scared out ladders. And I was trying to keep him busy, and it ended up costing me. But yes, we had lots of issues that even the room that we're in right now, we've had issues that we've overcome, And we even discussed, hey, my dad might
Oh,
move in with us, but now he's decided he doesn't want to do that, and I respect it. You know, he wants to be as independent as he can.
because we're at that age of being squeezed between elderly parents and children.
He's 86, and he wants to do it on his own, but he's in and out of the hospital quite a bit now. I respect his wishes to do what he wants to do. Actually, I respect the wishes to say whatever he wants to me. I just don't. Reserve the right to do what I think is best for my family. So we thought about we may have to take and put a door in here so that he can get in and out without having to go through the house. You know, maybe we'll give him one of the other rentals and we'll fix it where he can get in and out because he's using a walker now. That's kind of unusual for my dad. And he's falling a lot. So, yeah, then we'd have this room all set up the way we want it, and then we're going to have to change it all because there's another person involved. It didn't happen, but these are all things that you can enjoy instead of torturing yourself. Enjoy that journey. Enjoy the learning. Learn. It's in you to decide whether you're happy or not. It's literally inside of you. You can be unhappy because of things that happened to you in the past, or you can be happy because of the things that are happening to you now.
Or that you even made it.
How about you're alive? You know, you're not sick. You're not in a hospital. You have both legs maybe, or all your fingers. You can speak English in an English speaking country, or you have this massive future ahead of you that you don't even know what it is, but it's a big adventure or it's scary. It's a choice that you have. This journey that we go through, and fixing your home is that too. That journey, that learning, that starting out on an adventure, even if you don't accomplish what you set out to accomplish, trying makes your mind better. I can't quit thinking about they were talking about the anterior cingulate cortex is an area that grows if you are doing things that you don't want to do but you know you should do. And they find that people that live a long time have that area is larger in their mind because they have throughout their life done things that they don't want to do but they know they need to do it. So I'm telling you, you have a choice to be happy. And the adventure of fixing your home and taking some chances, painting or changing the decor, get together and work, together and make it something fun and joyful instead of a chore. Yeah, there'll be people that start out with lots of energy and then they leave you, but does that mean you should be unhappy then because you don't have anybody helping you? No, enjoy the adventure that you have. Enjoy it. Don't get all bent out of shape because something didn't work out it's just the way life is. Life is what happens while you're making other plans. You're making these plans, and then then life is something totally different. And I suggest that everything on the inside and the outside of your house can be changed, even a little at a time. And I promise you, you can go and look at other people's stuff and say, I like that. I don't know if I want it in my house, but I like that. So maybe you do like it, and you're like, I want to try that. And then you start out doing it, and it doesn't look the same when it's real close to me. That change, those changes are a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful journey, and you're picking up skills. You're getting to see life a different way, not only in different colors and different trim, different furniture or knickknacks, but your skill level is changing. You're changing yourself always. Even when you become older and things deteriorate and you're having to take medicine and things like that, those are changes that you have to go through. You can be miserable about it, or you can try to figure out ways to enjoy what you have. When we go in so fast, quite often we take for granted everything that we have. And this country has so much.
Yeah.
That we throw away stuff out on the curb, and people just drive by it because, I got something I like better than that. But when you're first starting out as a young guy, man, you can pick up all the furniture that you can stand.
We have 2 boys doing that.
You can go find what you want very, very cheaply because somebody got tired of it. That's Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist and all those things.
A lot of times they're giving it away.
Yes.
Just come get it.
And then maybe you need to paint it and sand on it or something, clear coat it.
Some woman has decided to completely redo her house, and she's just like, get it out of my house.
Right. I don't want this anymore.
These desks. That was how we got them. The desks, the shelves.
Right. And we didn't actually set out to have this particular desk and shelving. We kind of adjusted to it. We did want the wire shelving kind of.
Yeah, those are nice.
And then the first bunch we got was missing pieces. Couldn't put it together because it was missing pieces. He was a really nice guy and gave us some more. Didn't want the old back. And then we got these desks. Come to find out, we could have bought them brand new for what we got the desk for. Could have, but we'd had to put them together. So all this learning that goes on and adjusting, and all the things that are available to us now. I mean, now you have things that allow you to do murals on your wall. Actually, that's been around for a while. You can take a projector and put it on a picture, and it projects it on the wall, and you can trace it. Excuse me. So, there's so much possibility, so many things that you can do on the outside of your house, planting flowers and caulking. Most of it is much more enjoyable if you're not in a hurry. You're just doing it because you like doing it. You wanted to just do something that makes life better. You could be out there. You may be tearing that room down later, but you could still fix on it and it's like, hey, I want to see what it's like if I just see if I can get better at cutting the edges with my paintbrush. I mean, believe me, you can get better. I've seen some guys that I'm not bad, but I've seen some guys that make me look ridiculous. Just really, really good. That's all they do, though, pretty much. I would assume they do other things, but they do the painting way more than I. Same with drywall finishing. Although I'm pretty good at drywall finishing, there are guys that are better than that. They're better than me. But eventually, through the years, those guys have retired because their hands are done. Because they did the same thing over and over and over again.
Well, when you have the habit of changing your tools.
Yeah, I changed the handles. I changed how I use the handles, those tools. So I would suggest that there's plenty of tools that you haven't learned how to use that you can get. You don't have to pay the highest price. You can find used ones that people are not using anymore. Garage sales, yeah. Yeah, you can do and set out on that journey. Maybe you would like to do a stained glass window.
I always wanted to do that.
What an adventure that would be to make a stained glass window, in her case, a dragon.
or a Tweety.
Or a Tweety. uh, you know, it's why not? Why are you held back? See, and if you have a bunch of rentals, you can try different type styles inside there. So if you're constantly having to redo your rentals because they tore it up,
Like we are.
yeah, why not try a different style? Why not, find a way to enjoy what you're doing instead of being tortured by it?
Let's see. I call it the $100 a day improvement. Anything you can do to make your home worth an extra $100 a day will return thousands later.
I agree.
That is very true. Very, very true.
Yeah. So that's a great way to look at it. So you center your viewpoint about learning to enjoy the work that you do. And it talks about that even in the Bible. The joy of working with your hands, and someone who does work with hands ends up working before kings and becomes good at it. Even in the Bible. So from way back, thousands of years ago, it was understood working with your hands and doing things causes joy, contentment. It that picking up that skill is good. So I suggest that we keep on looking for ways to make one another, make ourselves more than what we are each and every day. I know that we go through life and say, look, I don't want to mess anything up because I'm barely hanging on, but why not learn? Why not learn something? It doesn't cost anything to learn something.
The hardest thing I had to learn after leaving nursing is to look at things and say, nobody's going to die. If I mess up, nobody's going to die.
Yeah, in nursing, you mess
don't
up,
make
somebody could
mistakes.
die.
It'll make you an absolute perfectionist, like obsessive perfectionist.
Right, I can imagine. So, yeah, so nobody's gonna die. You know, you could ruin the flooring.
But nobody's going to die.
Nobody died. Nobody died. I think the biggest thing working on people's houses is when you're not under pressure financially, it's a lot more enjoyable. When they're not pressuring you, to get it done in a certain time, it's very enjoyable. So I suggest that there are a lot of ways to enjoy working on your home. I mean, it's just an amazing amount of ways. Uh, have you ever stopped to look? I don't think we use catalogs anymore, but I have catalogs sent to me. They're like hardware. I literally saw a handle to a door that looked like a 6-gun pistol. You put your hand on the pistol and you pulled the trigger to open the door.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And on the other side is the barrel.
That is pretty cool.
And it was, of course, the whole room is set up in a Western style. But imagine the work that went into to even find that. We have all that available to us now with the internet. But how much fun would that be to just learn how to do those things and to pick up things? When I went to Habitat for Humanity, I picked up a fan that I haven't put up yet because the rod that hangs from the ceiling is too long to use except for one place in our house. So I'm gonna get a shorter rod, and probably she wants me to put it in here. But the fan looks like a propeller, an airplane propeller, a wooden airplane.
It's cool.
So I was like, ugh, $35. I'm gonna have to try it. It'd be, if I I don't ever use it. It was just too fun to not pick up.
Even if we end up putting it in a rental, it's still too much fun. I'd
Yeah.
rather have it here though.
So, you can change it if it gets where you don't like it. Like if it hit me in the head with a airplane propeller, I probably wouldn't like it after a while. Like if I have to duck all the time, I probably wouldn't like it as well as time passes. But that adventure of putting it up and it's like
We have
accomplishing
a disco ball in our living room.
it. Yeah, that's right. There is a big disco ball that you plug in and it turns, and I had lights that bounce off whenever she came here. Whenever she came here, I had the house the way I wanted to do things at that time. I had it's hard to find, but white plastic dryer hose, and then I ran
That was after we got married.
yeah, sequential Christmas tree lights. So I ran through it and fastened on the wall so it would look like a laser going through the
Living room.
yeah. So, so eventually I was like, okay, I gotta stop
I've had
doing.
enough of that.
Yeah. I suggest that every one of you has a playfulness about you, a curiosity that you could learn to enjoy the different colors that you actually like.
Let your freak flag fly. We're all individuals. And your
Right.
home is the place where
And forgive yourself if you make a mistake. Forgive yourself. Just enjoy it. Understand the mistakes that you have or what make you one of a kind. That those things are your journey is your journey. There is no other journey like it. You can try to describe it to people, but even if you wrote it down and recorded it, it's not going to be the same for them to see it as for you to go through it. So I suggest you make it a habit to be happy and do things that make you happy while working on your home. It's where you live. You spend a lot of time there. Why wouldn't you do things that make yourself happy at home? Particularly inside. Maybe the HOA or POA says you can't do whatever color on the outside,
but you can on the inside.
but you certainly can on the inside. They can't tell you what to do on the inside of your home.
That was one thing about Paula, my biological mother. We lived in some really crappy areas, but the inside of our house always looked nice. It always had pretty blankets and the pretty stuff, you know.
So I just wanted to talk about that because I think too many times people are torturing themselves and when it comes down to it they talk to me and I really don't like it, but you know it looks good. I don't really like it that much. The furniture they have don't even like it, but it's nice furniture, but they don't like it.
What the heck's the use of to have a nice furniture if you don't like it?
Or yeah, or
It's not comfortable.
what I would like is something much more elaborate, or much more simpler, or. But I'm still making payments on this. I want you to be happy, is what I want. I want all of you to be happy while you're doing things. And I promise you, changes are good. The only thing that stays the same is everything changes around you. Think about how much the world has changed since you were young. For me, there were no cell phones. There were party lines, landlines, and party lines. That means
Yeah, there wasn't even separate private phone lines. And you had the old biddy down the road who listened to everybody's conversation.
there might actually be somebody cranking a phone and putting it up to the ear when I was a kid. I everything changes, and the fact that we can talk to one another through what we're doing right now is a change. This never would have been available just a few years back. 100 years ago, people weren't taking hot showers. That wasn't available. You could get somebody to dump over, occasionally, a sprayer, but a hot shower, they had to cook the water and dump it over you. Think about that. Running water was difficult to get. Electricity didn't happen until the in rural areas until in the 40s and the 50s, and it was very rudimentary then. Then it was like radios and then TVs that you had to go out and adjust the rabbit ears or the antenna on the outside and just really couldn't get the channel you wanted to get. Now we got all the choices in the world of movies. You
Or
don't
you'd
have to.
have to have a kid hold the. I remember being the kid holding
The
it.
kid that was it was the remote control, and the cars, were bias ply tires that were rough riding. Roads were narrow, and there weren't very many of them. It was long ways to the grocery stores. Or maybe you lived in town where didn't have air conditioning. Now everybody has air conditioning. Do you see how things are gonna change ahead of us? And we actually worry about those things. Is there anything we can do about it?
Nope.
Not normally. So enjoy what time you have. Enjoy it. Be be careful and make good choices, but enjoy it. That's what I wanted to leave with you is try to find ways to work on your home, changing things around, even if it's moving the furniture around, changing the furniture that you have. You don't want to paint because you're worried you might mess it up. That's fine. You don't want to do the flooring, but you could be in charge of that. To have somebody do it that has skills with it. And you could find somebody you enjoy being around. It takes some time, but everything that's worthwhile takes time. So I suggest we should all try to find ways to enjoy ourselves, be happy while working on our home. Because that's who we are. Somebody who always changes. I hope I left you in a good mood. I really intended to just convey to you that you have the potential to be happy within you. All right, so I'm going to leave you with that thought, and I hope to see you next Wednesday, same time.
Same place. We're also going to be going live tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time on TikTok.
So, all the best to you guys.